So this is what this foil's for. It links bumps so easy, and when you find these big steep sections, it doesn't even flinch. Hey, it's Chris from Poseidon here. Going to do a review on the F1 Foils Eagle X, which I guess is the latest foil they've brought out in the lineup. Been out a while now. Pitched for full speed, downwind charging, whether that's prone, sup, wing. It's their most efficient foil to come out. Super high aspect ratio of 12. I'm running the 800 here. They do size all the way from 700 up to 1,000. Rumour has it there's a smaller one which Edo won the Cross Island competitions on. And that kind of tells you all you need to know about this foil, in that it is fast. It is super efficient. It's not a beginner foil by any means. It's also not the sort of foil which everybody's going to enjoy. This is designed as a highly efficient bump chasing machine for someone that wants to go fast at the compromise of ease, compromise of stability. But what's really impressive on this foil is how fun and playful it is as well. So there's been high aspect, high speed foils in the market now for a while. F1 as a brand are generally always bringing out foils which are playful and fun. You look at their skate, you look at the Eagle, and you look how enjoyable and rolly and loose they are to ride. This is no different with the Eagle, and for sure there's compromises, but this is a foil which is super fun to ride. So I'm going to take it out today. Pretty tough conditions, bumps rolling on through, pretty good downwind conditions to be fair, some steep drops, some mellow sections, running the Armstrong mid-length with a 4.5 wing, 4.6. So this is the 800 Eagle. I've got it on the 85 mast with the stock 145 tail, their downwind tail. So let's see how she goes. Handy tool I'm using here, which I absolutely swear by for testing, is these hydrofoil wing screws. So good for on the fly changes, so definitely worth checking those out. And I'm running for wings as well. The Kaohi leash, waist leash, big winner for me. Check them out. So as you take the Eagle X out to the water, you'll definitely notice straight away that it needs speed to take off. It's a high performance, high aspect ratio foil. So if you're trying to take off too slow, it's not physically going to have the lift to work. And because it's so high aspect ratio, it's going to be sensitive to pitch changes, which means you can't just stamp on the tail to take it off. It needs an efficient speed. So you've got to be at a certain level, intermediate to advanced level, to make this foil work. It's definitely not for a beginner. Intermediate to advanced winger, proner or downwind paddler is gonna be what you need to be to make it work. But if you are that person, you are able to create the speed, what you've got in the Eagle X is something which feels so streamlined and efficient that once it is up, you can keep it going so good. As long as your speed is above its stall speed, which is fairly forgiving as a high aspect ratio foil goes, but at the same time it's still fairly abrupt. So you get warning signs as you come down, but as you hit the stall speed, it definitely drops. But as long as you're up and above that stall speed, the pump characteristics of this foil is insane. And it just keeps on going so efficiently, whether it's flat water or whether you're linking bump to bump. It's so easy to keep the energy flowing and to search for it and to take a breather. And it just connects lumps so well. Its top end speed isn't just fast, but it's very manageable. So as you're getting up to its upper limits, whereas a lot of foils might start changing their pitch or their pressure in your feet, it's a gradual build and a really predictable characteristic in how it behaves. And its top end speed is just so comfortable. There's no point where it suddenly changes. I think a standout feature for me though with this Eagle X is how playful it is. It has a bit of downturn in here with a bit of a kick up at the tips, and F1 foils are always famously loose in their roll, and to look at a high aspect ratio foil with a big span like this, the 800's got a span of 98 centimeters, you'd think this is going to be quite locked in, and especially when it reaches its top end that it's going to struggle to roll. But it's very, very fun and very, very playful, and even if you're taking a drop, it will still push through its turn and it will still bank over really, really fun. So for a 98 centimeter span, you've got a foil here which you can really chuck around and have some fun. So you're able to link from bump to bump, throwing it around, having fun, whether that's downwind prone, whether it's wing. You could have a great time with this, as well as a fast glide with this as a foil. For sure, it has its uses, which is gliding and going fast, and for sure linking turns, but you'll find that you'll need to do wider arcing turns on this foil rather than a more aggressive surf style snapping turn. And you'll notice straight away, as soon as you try and drive it through a hard turn and you push through the tail and you try and hold that roll, there's a lot of energy created from these wingtips, and it really loads back up against you. And whilst the roll stays fairly loose, the energy driving back is a lot of pressure. So if you put in a hard turn and it's loading against your legs and then you take a drop, you'll find it can be quite a handful to manage. So for sure, it will check you and remind you that that's not what it's designed for. And whilst you can attack waves and you can have a load of fun, that's not what it's designed for. And it's designed for linking about, having some fun, and the efficiency you get out of a turn really makes you smile. It's so much fun because you take a drop and maybe you haven't attacked as hard or dropped as fast as you might on, say, a skate or the eagle. The acceleration that you come out of it just sends you into the next moment. Really, really fun. So super, super exciting to ride as a foil for linking about and gliding between bumps. In comparison to the eagle, it's a lot faster. Its stall speed is quite a bit higher, but its top end is a lot more manageable. So what you've got here is they've almost shifted the goalpost up to make a foil that's faster, but at the compromise of bottom. It's not quite as playful as the eagle. And so you've definitely got something which now almost puts the eagle in between the skate and this as a perfect halfway house. And for somebody that's looking proning, you might be going for that one. But for somebody that wants to charge pumping about, connecting bumps, winging full speed, this is the puppy. Tails make a big difference on it. So as stock, F1 recommend putting it with the downwind tail for full efficiency. 145 is what they're recommending as the size. And this feels like the most efficient glider in their range with all of the combos. It's super fast, it's super easy to pump, it's got a good front foot pressure with the 145, which allows you to really lean into it and feel the foil. But the downwind tails do lock out that roll a little bit. So what some people are finding, what I've definitely found, is that if you stick it on the carved tail, that will loosen that roll up a little bit. So if for you the Eagle X is for more about charging turns, you might think about running it on the carved tail, thinking about putting it on the W. So the 1.4W or the 1.6W is a slightly faster tail, which feels fairly similar in its front foot pressure to the downwind tails. So that will loosen the roll up, but you'll sacrifice a little bit of pump and you'll sacrifice a little bit of top end. So if you want full efficiency, downwind, 145, a little bit looser, the 141W is lovely with it. Well worth checking out. Definitely something that's worth sticking in your quiver if you're an intermediate to an advanced rider. Struggle to have it as your only foil, but something to slot in there for those high speed charging sessions. If you're into downwind focus, bump connecting, the Eagle X, absolute puppy. 800 feels like a good staple size. 900 is going to be a bit easier. 1000 if you really want to link turns around. If you want to try it out, give us a shout. I'm Chris at Poseidon. If you want your own, if you want to find out more info, we're on the phone, or www.poseidon-watersports.com. And when you find these big, steep sections, it doesn't even flinch.